oil refineries offline, and a major East Coast pipeline is also shut down.
Some of this refining capacity has been coming back, but I think it's going to take a while to get it all together, and we don't know what the damages are. I think that's the biggest question mark.
The federal government is releasing 1 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserves, and experts say there is enough supply, but it will likely cost you more to fill up over the next several weeks as production returns to normal. Meanwhile, Second Harvest Food Bank accepting donations at its main warehouse in Elmwood from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. Here are some of the items you can donate: non-perishable food, canned goods, water, MREs, and cleaning supplies. If you can't make it to the food bank, you can send a monetary donation online at the web address on your screen.
And now taking a live look outside on this Friday. Finally, we are seeing that sunshine as we head into the holiday weekend. Meteorologist Daniel Graves joins us now with a look at our forecast. Daniel.
I know it's been a busy week, so I think we deserve this kind of weather. The sunshine going to last as we go into the weekend as well. Of course, it's the holiday weekend. We are going to see some rain chances increasing. I think that starts as we go into the beginning parts of next week. For now, though, things looking pretty good. A few isolated showers to show you this afternoon, and then mainly across the South Shore. Lafourche Parish seeing a few showers down towards southern portions of Jefferson. This moving towards the east. You can see these pop-up showers here may produce a heavy downpour down towards the coast, but overall most areas going to be staying dry for the rest of the evening. Here is a look at post-tropical Harvey now bringing some rainfall across the northeast. We do have this boundary that's going to be stalled across the Gulf over the weekend, so still that possibility for a few isolated showers over the weekend, but I think for the most part things going to be looking pretty good for any of your outdoor plans. If you were with us yesterday, we were monitoring the Bay of Campeche for some possible development as we go over the next several days. National Hurricane Center now showing 0% chance for development with that. It could still drift a little bit towards the north, so I think combining with that boundary in the Gulf may bring us a few isolated showers over the weekend. But the main focus now shifting to the far eastern Atlantic. We have a tropical wave just got off of the coast of Africa, moving towards the west just south of Hurricane Irma. 60% chance for tropical development with that system. But of course, what we're watching right now is Hurricane Irma. You can see a well-defined eye now as it continues to move over towards the west over those warm waters of the Atlantic. So winds were 110 miles per hour, now back up to 120. A major Category 3 hurricane. It will continue kind of a dip towards the southwest and forecasting a turn towards the northwest just north of the Leeward Islands on Wednesday of next week with winds of 130 miles per hour, which is a Category 4 hurricane, and the forecast models all picking up and agreeing with this turn towards the northwest. Now, we do have an area of high pressure that's going to be into the central Atlantic. This is what's going to kind of help to guide this towards the northwest. Now, depending on how strong this area of high pressure is, still could make a more westerly track, but again, for now, a lot of these models want to pick this up and carry it back out towards the northeast. Still plenty of time to watch this system, and of course, we'll continue to provide those updates over the week ahead. Here's a look at our forecast model going into your Friday evening. Overnight into Saturday, there's the rest of Harvey continuing to bring all that moisture towards the northeast. Things looking pretty good for us. Possibly some morning fog down near the coast. Into the afternoon, again, an isolated coastal shower possible. Otherwise, lots of sunshine for us throughout the day. That carries over into Sunday. Notice not much change in the forecast here with those clear skies going into Sunday. And then Monday is Labor Day. We'll start to see a little bit more moisture starting to accumulate across the northern Gulf, and so that could spread a little bit further towards the north. About a 30% chance for some scattered showers for your Labor Day. Better rain chances going to come Tuesday and Wednesday as this cold front's digging towards the south, which may bring us our first taste of fall. As we continue to go throughout the middle parts of the week, this front building towards the south, rain chances remain high Tuesday and Wednesday, but then look at this cooler air trying to filter down. May see some lows on the North Shore into the upper 50s to the low 60s by Friday, with South Shore into the mid 60s, and it won't be feeling as humid. So something to look forward to as we go over the next week. Right now, temperature is pretty warm, upper 80s. It is 90 right now in Hammond. Winds are generally difference in direction now towards the south all the way towards the northwest towards the Hammond area, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Overnight tonight, a partly cloudy sky. Warm and humid conditions continue. I think lows a little bit cooler, though. Low to mid 70s for us to start the day on Saturday. Then lots of sunshine for us. Again, that isolated afternoon shower, especially down near the coast. Temperatures, though, will remain warm in the mid 80s to the lower 90s. Now, take a look at your 7-day forecast. We will start to see those rain chances increasing as we go towards the middle parts of the week. So Tuesday and into Wednesday is going to be our best shot at some rain. But then check out Thursday and Friday, especially our morning lows, some 50s and low 60s with highs only into the low 80s. So, of course, something to look forward to. Another thing to look forward to is our giveaway. WDSU knows weather, and our umbrella giveaway winner today is Kimberly Keel from New Orleans. Congratulations to you. It's compliments of Legacy Buick GMC. To get your hands on one of those umbrellas, just go over to our contest page on WDSU.com or on the WDSU app.
Still headed for a stomach virus sweeps sorority row at North Carolina University, how it's affecting this year's rush. And a man on the run from police takes a swim, but he gets a bit more than he bargained for. A closer look at the visitor that joined him in that escape. Tonight in prime time, it looks like this. 7 o'clock, Diana, 7 Days, the documentary about Princess Diana, detailing her 1997 death. Then at 9, it's Dateline NBC, Don't Watch Her Though. Then it's WDSU News at 10, followed by The Tonight Show.
Now to stories trending online. Bad news for some future sorority girls at the University of North Carolina.
The start of Rush has been pushed back, all because of a bad stomach bug going around right now. It started when dozens of young women from different UNC sororities showed up to campus health services for treatment. The medical staff determined the young women were suffering from some type of stomach bug that resembles the norovirus. University officials say there are no confirmed cases of norovirus yet. Even so, some students say the university made the right call.
I think it's a good idea. It's a lot of social interaction, so it's probably good to limit it.
I think it's a good idea just because the virus isn't something that you want to contract, and I know that a lot of people are getting sick, and if everyone's in a really big place all together, then that's not a good idea.
So Rush could start on Sunday, but it's not known if it'll last an entire week like usual or be shortened because of the stomach bug outbreak.
And still in North Carolina, a man tried to escape police custody by jumping into the ocean. But take a look. As you can see, the 20-year-old ended up with more than just police on his tail. Police drone video showed a shark swimming near him. It happened after Surf City Police pulled Zachary Kingsbury over on Wednesday. Officers say they saw illegal contraband in the car and asked Kingsbury to get out. Well, that's when he ran to the ocean and just dove in. An hour later, he was about 4,000 feet out when the drone lost visual contact. He was arrested near a beach access later that night. So I guess you can run, but you can't hide.
It's just dumb. Where are you going to go?
Where are you going to go? You're in the water.
They're going to find you.
Or the shark will find you.
Right. Somebody's getting you. You're not getting away.
Maybe a happy ending for him. Well, hey, coming up next, millions are donating to hurricane relief, but there are some scammers looking to steal your money. What you need to know before you open your wallet.
I just feel betrayed. I feel angry. I feel a lot of things, and I still am confused.
This story is incredible. A nurse handcuffed by a police officer, which she says started this entire altercation. This is WDSU News at 4 o'clock. As we go to break, the sun rising over the Mississippi River, although that's not currently happening. We'll be right back.
At 4:30, we continue to track our weather. A big holiday weekend ahead.
And people are starting that commute home on a Friday afternoon. Light traffic right now, I-10 at Louisa. Here's meteorologist Daniel Graves in the Weather Center with our forecast. Daniel?
Yeah, and so things looking pretty good as far as we're looking at the Crescent City connection. Sunshine, blue skies. There is a few areas, though, that you may be running into some of that rainfall heading home. So I want to show you that right now, mainly across the South Shore. Still got a shower there across Raceland, down towards the LaRose area and southern portions of Jefferson Parish. We're just seeing a few isolated showers continuing their trek off towards the east. For the most part, though, things staying pretty dry across the North Shore and South Mississippi. A beautiful day today. Lots of sunshine continued throughout most of the day for all of us, but towards our east, lots of shower activity continuing. Moisture into the Gulf of Mexico. There's a boundary stalled there. I think could help to bring a few isolated showers for us over the weekend, kind of like what we're seeing now, but not expecting any heavy widespread rainfall across the area. And that rain extending all the way up towards the north from post-tropical Harvey, which continues to bring a lot of moisture across the Ohio Valley and towards the northeast. But overall, we're saying goodbye to Harvey as we go towards our holiday weekend. Things looking pretty good for us. Very warm temperatures right now, though. Upper 80s for most, 88 at the Kenner Airport, 86 for you down in Belle Chase, 85 right now in Gulfport. The warm spot, Hammond, did reach 90 degrees today. Winds generally calm, 5 to 10 miles per hour for most areas out of the south to the northwest. So we do have some variable winds out there. I do expect most to start to shift to the north as we go through the overnight hours. Here's a look at the forecast model for the evening. I think things staying pretty dry. If you're going out tonight, it'll be another mild and humid night for us. Going towards Saturday morning, we start to see possibly a little bit of fog on the south shore, but otherwise some sunshine to start your day, and that will continue as we go throughout the afternoon. There's that chance again for a spotty shower going into Saturday afternoon, generally going to be along the coast as we see a little bit more moisture down there, and then those clear skies continuing as we go into Sunday as well. So here's a look at your weather headlines. We are looking at a nice holiday weekend. Some rain chances, though, could start to increase as we go into next week. Generally looking at Tuesday and Wednesday at our best shot at some rain as a cold front is going to be building into the area. And of course, we continue to track the tropics. We do have Hurricane Irma, which is still far out into the eastern Atlantic, moving quickly towards the west, though, with winds right now of 120 miles per hour. The forecast track taking it a southwest dip and then generally turning towards the northwest as a category 4 hurricane. We'll look at what more of the models are saying the track could be coming up here in just a few minutes.
Daniel, thanks. We continue to follow this breaking news right now. A private levee breached in Plaquemines Parish. This is an aerial look at it. It's happening near the Phillips 66 refinery in Alliance. Officials say it was most likely caused by Hurricane Harvey. The location of that breach is on private property, and officials say this is not the first time the levee has given way. It's about 50 to 75 feet wide, that breach, and officials say the nearby pumping station is manned. The breach does not pose any flooding threat to any homes nearby on Highway 23 or the refinery.
Charges filed in the death of a baby girl who police say was left in a hot car. Jefferson Parish investigators confirm the baby's father, Shang Li, was arrested and charged with negligent homicide. The coroner has not released the cause of death, but identified the baby as Claire Lee. Police say she was left in that hot car for a long period of time on Hastings Street in Metairie. She was taken to the hospital where her death was confirmed. Also happening now, Lafourche Parish Sheriff's officials say they have arrested a man accused of raping and beating a woman in Raceland. Deputies arrested 36-year-old Tellis Guidry and charged him with 2 counts of first-degree rape and 3 counts of second-degree battery. Police say Guidry got into a fight with the woman inside of a Raceland bar. After that fight, investigators say Guidry dragged the woman outside, beating her and then raping her. Guidry is being held at the Lafourche Parish Detention Center. And in Assumption Parish, a 55-year-old man is behind bars accused of committing sex crimes on a person with a mental disability. Police say Michael LaRose was performing some maintenance work at the victim's house when he committed the alleged crimes. LaRose said he was drunk at the time of the alleged assaults. The suspect is in jail pending a bond hearing. And over in Central City, a vehicle got into a fender bender with a streetcar. You can see the video. The car was stopped there on the tracks. Officials haven't released any further information.
Now the latest out of Texas and that problematic chemical plant in Crosby. That's where executives say workers tried to make last-minute provisions and keep moving around chemicals as the plant began to flood during Harvey. 1 of 9 containers holding organic peroxides caught fire and exploded early Thursday. Company officials expect the other 8 to do so in the coming days. In federal accident plans, Arkema was supposed to address worst-case scenarios, but never came up with those plans. Take a look at this video. It's from Beaumont, Texas, an aerial shot of that. Lines of cars have formed to try to get bottled water. It's unclear right now when Beaumont will be able to provide residents with its own water. The flooding covered pumps that are the primary source of drinking water there. Beaumont's backup water source has also failed. Hospitals there have evacuated because patients lack water. As Harvey's floodwaters inundated southeast Texas, Americans opened up their hearts and their wallets to help those in need. But unfortunately, criminals looking to profit off disaster also have been very busy. And today, the federal government announced a stepped-up effort to crack down. Sally Kidd is in D.C. with the story.
The Justice Department says federal and state law enforcement agencies have created a working group to investigate and prosecute illegal activity related to Hurricane Harvey. Phony websites, fishy emails.
They're going to be coming at you.
Fraudsters trolling for dollars.
Because emotions are high, this is the time where some questionable operators will take advantage.
The Justice Department's National Center for Disaster Fraud is already receiving complaints to its 24-hour fraud hotline.
What is in essence a national 911 call center for disaster fraud.
Before making a donation, keep these tips in mind.
Number one, don't give cash. If people ask you for cash, that's a sign that they may not be reputable.
If you receive any unsolicited email asking for a contribution, don't click on any links or open any attachments. They could contain viruses.
Give to organizations that are established and have been vetted, such as those that meet the BBB standards for charity accountability.
Sort of rule of thumb is that roughly around 75% of the money ought to be going to what the general program is.
Do not provide personal financial information unless you've confirmed whom you're dealing with.
Oftentimes, fraudsters will attempt to use variations of a name that is otherwise legitimate, but it's slightly off.
And beware of the middleman. Contribute directly to charities and not to someone collecting donations on their behalf. Also, experts say reputable charities will not pressure you to give, so any high-pressure tactics should raise a red flag. In Washington, I'm Sally Kidd.
To check out ratings on charities, you can go to the Better Business Bureau's website. And happening now, vehicles parked on neutral grounds in the city of New Orleans must be moved.
The city has reinstated rules against parking on neutral grounds and on sidewalks. Enforcement was suspended earlier this week as residents were encouraged to move their property to higher grounds. That was to avoid damage from heavy rains. If your car is not moved, you'll be at risk of being ticketed or towed.
It was the fourth and final preseason game for the Saints last night in the Dome.
And unfortunately, it ended in a loss. Sports anchor Fletcher Mackel has a look back at the game against the Ravens.
That's right. The Saints lost to the Baltimore Ravens in the preseason finale last night here in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, and now it will be two very difficult games for Bubble Guys. The Saints have to trim their roster from 90 to 53 by Saturday afternoon. Veteran players who've been through this before say the process is very difficult.
I've been cut multiple times. I was an undrafted free agent. It's the nature of the business. It sucks. This is the worst. It's the worst 2 days of the year for us professionally as players, because you build something in training camp and you build something in OTAs and you get to know these 91 guys, but then you got to get down to 53, which is it's tough, man. It is.
Chase Daniel is, of course, Drew Brees' backup, but last night he injured his ankle. He was wearing a walking boot in the locker room, but he told the media, "I'm okay. I'll be fine. Don't worry about me." Reporting in the Superdome, I'm Fletcher Mackel, WDSU News.
Thanks, Fletcher. And more football is ahead as LSU opens its season against BYU tomorrow night in the Superdome.
That game was supposed to be played in Houston, but was moved after Harvey moved in. Sharif Ishak is here, and there is some late-breaking Saints news as well to toss to you with. That Willie Snead, the Saints wide receiver, is suspended for the first 3 games of this season, which is a tough blow for the Saints.
Well, we're trying to find out what was going on with Willie Snead because we haven't seen him in quite a few days, quite a few games. So certainly some breaking news there by the NFL Network, I'm sure. Well, we'll hear from Sean Payton whenever he's ready to discuss that type of thing. All right, as of right now, only 50,000 tickets have been sold for the game, which is honestly a shocker. Felt like maybe more LSU fans from this area and Baton Rouge would take advantage of LSU finally playing in the Big Easy for the first time since that embarrassing loss to Alabama in the national championship game back in January 2012. Coach O and his Tigers are hoping to avoid getting embarrassed in their backyard by the BYU Cougars, who struggled to beat Portland State a week ago at home. But Coach O threw on the tape for his guys to show how physical they are, and also reminded his Tigers that BYU has an advantage of getting a game under their belt.
Those coaches in there, and they're making adjustments, they're making mistakes, they saw them live. We don't have that luxury, but also they didn't see us play neither, so we got an advantage to see their guys. We had a lot of cut-ups from the TV copies, so we understand what they're trying to do. Obviously, they're going to put in new wrinkles that we're going to have to make adjustments, but we're very well prepared for that.
And not the first time Coach O faces off against BYU. Back in 1990, he was a defensive line coach at Miami who upset the then #1 ranked BYU Cougars. Scott?
All right, Sharif, thank you. Now the most popular stories on the WDSU app. A new Guinness World Record in Toronto, and all the man had to do was wear a bee beard for 61 minutes. Look at this. Under that mass of wings and stingers is Juan Carlos Nogues Ortiz. He's an employee at a honeybee farm in Cookstown, Ontario. My goodness. The previous record was beaten by almost 8 minutes. Ortiz says he's not scared of bees. and only practiced the stunt twice before doing it for real. He only was stung a few times in the process. That's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
A lobster caught in New England was saved from the dinner plate by his unique coloration. Look at that guy. Experts say yellow lobsters are super rare, like 1 in 30 million rare. The lobster was found in a trap, but will now join the colorful collection of crawling crustaceans currently kicking it at the New England Aquarium. And there are 7,541 pieces in the updated Ultimate Collector's Series Millennium Falcon. The super detailed Star Wars model includes interiors replacing 10 minifigures from young Han Solo to Rey and Finn. It's the single largest Lego set ever and the most expensive at $800. The new Falcon flies into stores October 1st. I loved Legos as a kid, but that would intimidate me. That's serious.
Back in my heyday as a child, I built a 1,200-piece Millennium Falcon.
Wow.
My brother would love to play with them, and I would be the builder.
Wow, little known secrets.
Little known secrets.
Juliana Mazza.
Yep.
All right.
Force Friday.
Now this story before we go. An SUV plows into a home. It happened this morning in Florida.
Hillsborough deputies say the driver was speeding when she lost control and plowed through a stop sign and a fence, then into the back porch and through the sliding glass doors. Homeowner Ryan Sexton says the alarm sounded, then they heard a big bang and thought someone was trying to break in.
I grabbed my gun and I started going down the stairs and hollering, you know, who's there? And then I saw a car in my living room. It's like, Jesus, this is not good.
Hillsborough deputies say the driver is expected to be okay.
Still ahead, a nurse put in handcuffs. The whole thing caught on camera, what she says happened, and the latest on this serious investigation. And how many people say they've been bitten by another person? News you need to know. That number and other weird medical codes coming up.
And all new at 5, the leader of the post-Katrina rescue effort reunites with 2 of the storm's smallest survivors. How the family is doing today after surviving Hurricane Harvey. And find out how many Texans are staying in Louisiana shelters after escaping the rising floodwaters of that devastating storm.
This is WDSU News at 4 o'clock. A live look outside on a beautiful Friday. We're coming right back.
New body camera video has been released showing a nurse being arrested because she didn't let police draw blood from an unconscious patient.
In that video, July 26th, it was released by the Salt Lake Police Department. You can see the officer make the arrest. As he goes to put the nurse in handcuffs, you can hear the nurse shout that she's done nothing wrong. She was arrested after refusing to give the officer vials of blood for an investigation. The nurse says officers did not have a warrant or meet any of the mandatory criteria needed for taking the blood.
The only job I have as a nurse is to keep my patients safe. A blood draw is not, it just gets thrown around there like it's some simple thing, but blood is your blood. That's your property.
It was alarming. Immediately after seeing the video, they started an internal affairs investigation to look into what happened. We also looked at our policies and procedures to see if maybe there was something that needed to be done.
The nurse was released from the cuffs shortly after that altercation and was never charged with a crime. She has not filed any civil action against the police agencies involved, but is calling for better training of officers. In today's State of Addiction report, a group is calling on the FDA to ban high-dose opioid painkillers. The pills in question would add up to more than 90 milligrams of morphine a day if taken as directed. While heavy painkillers are important for people with severe and terminal illnesses, the group of concerned safety advocates and doctors say a ban would help prevent accidental overdoses. The petition is from the Association of State and Territorial Health Officials, physicians responsible for opioid prescribing, the National Safety Council, and the American College of Medical Toxicology. The FDA has 180 days to respond.
Emergency room doctors have seen everything, which means they need to have a specific diagnosis code for injuries, even the bizarre ones like being bitten by a pig or walking into a lamppost. Insurance companies are the ones that need those codes. Well, a healthcare group claims in California that they examined the codes and found some interesting things. So about 1,800 patients had been accidentally bitten by another person. About 1,700 had been hit by a cow. 600 had an unfortunate run-in with a sword or dagger. So if you're running outside, I guess be careful with those swords.
Oh, yeah. I'm worried about being hit by a cow now.
You know what? It could happen.
It's surprisingly common, apparently.
Surprisingly, it is. Hopefully, I haven't seen too many cows out this way in New Orleans, but you never know.
We did see some cattle running down the street in Texas the other day as they evacuated Harvey, which was an amazing sight to see. Anyway.
Now, taking a live look outside on this Friday night, we are finally getting some of that sunshine today. Meteorologist Daniel Graves joins us in the Weather Center with a closer look at our weekend forecast.
I'm just still utterly surprised by that cow statistic.
The cow, you know, 1,600. Be careful.
I know.
Be careful.
So the cows can't be mad, though, with the forecast. We are looking at some nice weather going into your evening tonight and into the holiday weekend as well. The sunshine remains and those blue skies as well. Here's a look at what's going on, though. A few areas that may not be seeing some of that sunshine down towards the South Shore, parts of Lafourche Parish, seeing some rain moving off towards the east. For the most part, though, staying dry for you on the North Shore and into coastal Mississippi. Near Galliano areas where we're seeing these thunderstorms, a little bit of lightning with that as well. So could get a quick downpour as it's moving off towards the east, starting to make its way into St. Bernard Parish as well. Those few isolated showers there. Here's a look at the big picture, and for the most part, we're seeing a drying trend off towards our northwest. I think we'll still see some drier air filtering in over the weekend, so that's what's going to make for some nice weather for us over the weekend. There is this boundary stalled here that I think could still bring a few isolated showers like what we're seeing now, but there is post-tropical Harvey, and that continues to move off towards the northeast away from our area, but we're still tracking a few disturbances in the Atlantic down towards the Gulf of Mexico. There was an area we were watching for possible tropical development. National Hurricane Center said forget about it. Could still bring a few isolated showers for us, may drift a little bit further towards the north, and with that frontal boundary that's just stalled in our area, may bring an isolated shower or two. But the main things we are watching in the far eastern Atlantic, actually a tropical wave just came off of Africa, a 60% chance for tropical development as it continues to move over the warm waters of the Atlantic. Then, of course, we have Hurricane Irma, which continues its westward track across the Atlantic, now back to a Category 3 major hurricane with winds of 120 miles per hour, moving off towards the west at 13 miles per hour, and is expected to make a more southwesterly dip before being influenced by an area of high pressure over the central Atlantic. May turn that towards the northwest as a Category 4 hurricane. We're talking the middle parts of next week towards the Leeward Islands, and there's Puerto Rico right there, so may just skirt towards the north of that. Then a little bit of uncertainty in the forecast as we continue after that. A lot of the forecast models in agreement that it will take that northwesterly turn, and a lot of them just want to take it back out into the Atlantic due to that area of high pressure helping to direct it. So I wanted to show you what's going on as we go towards Monday. Now the green is the GFS and the yellow is our European model, and they're kind of in agreement with that turn, but that European model wanting to keep it a little bit closer toward the east coast. So definitely something to keep an eye on. You can see this is for September 11th, week from Monday, so definitely have a lot of time to continue to watch this forecast track. Here's a look at your forecast for this evening. We'll continue to see some cloud cover across the South Shore, possibly some fog forming in the morning, otherwise some sunshine to start our weekend with temperatures into the upper 80s. We'll continue to see some nice weather. There's that chance for a spotty shower or two from that weak frontal boundary stalled in the Gulf. We'll continue to see this nice weather, though, continuing for Saturday into Sunday as well. Some passing clouds from time to time. Otherwise, get out and enjoy the nice weather that we should be having over the weekend. Our rain chances will start to increase as we go towards the Labor Day holiday. 30% rain chance for your Monday, but they really start to ramp up Tuesday and Wednesday. But then notice lesser rain chances Thursday and Friday. We're actually watching a cold front that will be building towards the south, may give us our first taste of fall. So those rain chances remain high until that front makes it through the area. Then we see some cooler air sliding down from the north, and we could have some lows in the upper 50s to low 60s by the end of the week for the North Shore and the mid 60s for the South Shore. But regardless if we're in the 60s, you'll notice the difference because we'll get a big break from that humidity. We don't have that break right now. It's very warm for us this evening. Temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. We did top out at 90 degrees in the Hammond area. Overnight tonight, generally a partly cloudy sky. Temperatures will fall into the low to the mid 70s. Those winds pretty calm, just out of the north around 5 miles per hour. They'll shift to the northeast throughout the day tomorrow. Mostly sunny skies. Again, that isolated chance for a shower Saturday and Sunday, but rain chances start to increase on Monday, but our best rain chance is going to be Tuesday and Wednesday. But look at our highs and lows for Thursday and Friday. Definitely going to be feeling pretty comfortable by the end of the week.
All right, Daniel, thanks. Making room for fall merchandise could mean some big savings. A look at the deepest discounts this Labor Day weekend and the power of facial recognition, where this new payment system is rolling out. A live look outside right now as we head off the break on this Friday. This is WDSU News at 4. Don't go away.
TripAdvisor's Labor Day survey reveals the top trips Americans are making this weekend as they mark the unofficial end of summer.
The roads and the airports for this holiday weekend will be the busiest today, as 30% of those traveling plan to leave today. Most will be taking a beach or ocean trip. 25% will make a city getaway, and 11% will visit a park or national park.
And consumers can expect big discounts this Labor Day weekend as retailers make room for their fall merchandise. Prices will likely be slashed on big ticket items like appliances, mattresses, and engagement rings. According to Wallet Hub, more than half of all Americans plan to shop Labor Day sales this year, buying things like clothing, electronics, and school supplies.
And in China, you can buy a meal in some places simply by showing up. Take a look. It's the first of its kind facial recognition based payments at a KFC in China. It allows users to pay for their meals by getting a face scan, which will try to match with existing information in the user's payment account. The growing use of facial recognition technology also raises questions involving data privacy, of course. Before we go,
there's a face that we're going to be missing.
Yes, very nice transition. A
Thank you.
bittersweet goodbye today. Producer Marcy is leaving this newscast. She's been here for 6.5 years, one of only 2 producers in this newscast history. And this newscast is about 8 years old. And she's been there just about every step of the way. And we had a shot in the control room that we're going to show you, Marcy, and it's not there just yet.
It's coming.
There's a little glitch.
So
of course,
stay with us.
A little glitch in your last show so you can remember it by. But we're going to miss Marcy. She's leaving us for a great new job where she's going to work with the Archdiocese, and we're happy for her that she's going to go and do something else, although we will miss her very much on this newscast. And I'm happy I was able to anchor this newscast on her last day because we kind of started it together. And there she is. We got
Marcy.
the shot ready to go. Producer Marcy. She's on Twitter at Producer Marcy. She might have to change her Twitter handle now.
Oh, Marcy, we're going to miss you.
She's done a fabulous job for us. She's about to tell us there are 25 seconds left in this newscast, and we need to go and do the 5 o'clock tease. So best of luck, Marcy. We will certainly miss you. Still ahead on the news at 5, a Jefferson Parish father arrested after his 11-month-old daughter dies after being left in a hot car. The latest on the charges against him.
Plus, communities on the North Shore working together to help survivors of Hurricane Harvey, how you can pitch in there, and at other donation drives around our area. We'll see you at 5.
This is breaking news on WDSU.
First at 5, a Saints star suspended. The news coming down within the last hour. Good evening. I'm Juliana Mazza.
And I'm Scott Walker. Thanks for joining us. Saints head coach Sean Payton confirming the news on a conference call. Here's sports anchor Sharif Ishak with all the details.
Yeah, Scott, big news in the midst of Saints cutting down their roster. Willie Snead now suspended for the first 3 games of the season. Head coach Sean Payton would not go into the details, but ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter says Snead's suspension is for a personal conduct violation that stemmed from an off-season DUI. Coach Payton says the team is aware of the suspension and it will factor into how the team plans to start the season. Last year, the Saints receiver had 72 receptions for 895 yards and 4 touchdowns. Coming up in sports, we'll talk about the Saints cutdowns and the one big name that's already been cut from the team. Back to you.
Sharif, thanks. A father charged in the death of his baby girl, Sheng Li, now faces negligent homicide charges. Officials say 11-month-old Claire Li was left inside of her parents' hot van yesterday.
WDSU's Tammy Eswick is live now with more on the new charges and the investigation into what happened. Tammy.
Yeah, that's right. We're right outside of East Jefferson Hospital next to the emergency room. This is where 11-month-old Claire Li was taken last night and pronounced dead. Now, her father has been charged with negligent homicide after being interviewed by detectives. That happened just today, and we just learned that he is still in jail with no bond so far. Now, once again, this all happened yesterday. According to Sheng Li, he told detectives that he was supposed to take his 11-month-old daughter to daycare, but instead he ended up going to work. When he got home to the 500 block, or 5,000 rather, block of Hastings Street in Metairie, he looked inside for his daughter, could not find her, and went outside and found her inside of that vehicle. We spoke to neighbors in his neighborhood who say they're shocked and saw the commotion yesterday.
And 2 neighbors across the street are both Jefferson Parish policemen. I thought originally, being a Saints game, I must be having some kind of Saints party with all the policemen. But then I saw the coroner, and I said, no, this is not good.
Well, the Jefferson Parish coroner says that it is likely that the child suffered from heat-related stroke, but that autopsy is still pending tonight. From East Jefferson, Tammy Eswick, WDSU News.
To be quite honest, I think it's a tremendous lack of transparency and clarity with the public.
Some Lakeview residents still reeling after their streets flooded in early August because of a failing pumping system. Those now in charge of the Sewerage and Water Board say they are still making critical repairs. WDSU's Casey Ferrand has the latest on the city's management of the drainage system. Casey.
Yeah, those in charge of the Sewage and Water Board right now on an interim basis say they're focusing on being more transparent with the public while still trying to fix critical pumping and power issues in areas of the city. One of those, Lakeview, which is where we spoke to one resident who says he's very critical of the city's situation.
This is a debilitating kind of sense of uncertainty. And it is really weighing on the people that are vulnerable.
At the height of hurricane season, Greg Gaspers is keeping sandbags on standby at his Lakeview home with a wavering sense of security after the August 5th flood.
Really rained hard that day for a long time.
He says the water was about 14 inches deep in the middle of the street and nothing was moving it out. As he later found out, that was because the pumps weren't working.
To be quite honest, I think it's a tremendous lack of transparency and clarity with the public that these things were allowed to be allowed to get into this condition without the public knowing. Secondly, I thought it was reprehensible that they tried to hide it after the fact.
Since then, the city has allocated $35 million to make emergency repairs to fix the power generating system and get non-working pumps back online. Still, 13 of them are not working.
This emergency management team is going to help us think through with the pathway forward and all of those things to turn this into a high-functioning organization.
But that's still a far-reaching task with a power generating system that officials described as the most complicated in the nation, having been piecemealed together for decades.
This is just the beginning, and if the city really wants to address this issue, they're going to get a plan from us within the next 60 to 90 days that goes in whole hog and identifies for everybody what it's going to cost to give the people of the city what it is that they say they want.